How's it, everyone? So welcome to the last week, and we're covering standard costing in our last week. Again, all the normal stuff. Chapter 13 is the applicable chapter in the textbook for this week, but specifically for this section is can be quite a complex topic. So for this topic, I would advise you just to stick as much as possible to the notes. The notes will be more than sufficient. This week, there will not be multiple choice questions, so multiple choice questions will not be graded. And there also won't be any long questions because we're going to do the long questions as part of a class example. So the objectives for this week is we can explain what a standard costing system is, we're going to calculate variances and talk about what variances is, reconcile actual profit to budgeted profit, and investigate the causes of variance and the interrelationship between variances. Alright, so to start off with, last week we covered budgeting. And so let's say, for example, a company has budgeted a set of results for 100,000 a month, so they budgeted to have a profit of 100,000 per month. But actually what happens is they end up having a loss of 50,000. So clearly you can see there is a difference of 100,000 profit and what actually happens is a 50,000 loss. So there is a difference of 150,000. So the question is then, what caused this 150,000 difference? And that is either the revenues was much lower than we expected, and or the costs were much higher than we expected. And really this is what standard costing or variance analysis allows us to do by investigating the reasons for the variances. So at a broad level, there's two types of variances. When you save costs or revenues exceed budget, that is known as favorable variances. When there's poor performances, in other words, there's cost overruns, cost is higher than budgeted, or actual revenues is lower than budgeted revenues, we have what is known as adverse variances. And variance analysis is critical because we want to identify the root cause for these variances. So that's why we have variance analysis. So basically, an overview, what is the standard costing system? Standard costing system enables the variances between actual and budget figures to be analyzed in detail, thus enabling costs to be controlled more effectively. So when we analyze our actual versus budget, we are able to do it in so much more detail because of a standard costing system, which means in future years we can improve our standards or our budget so that we can control costs more effectively. Alright, just two key differences to note between standard costing and IFRS. Inventory is carried at standard costs, and variances are recognized in full in the period in which they occur. So that's the two key differences between standard costing and IFRS. So the calculation of variances. So the first concept that I need to explain to you is the concept of flexing your budget. Last week we did a budget, but the concept of flexing your budget is usually important when we're computing variances. So if we take, for example, a foreman who works in a pen factory, standard usage of plastic material input is 0.1 kilograms per pen. So in other words, for every pen that's produced, they need 0.1 kilograms of plastic materials. So based on the planned production levels given by management of 100,000 pens, the procurement division ordered 10,000 kilograms of material of plastic in order to meet the production demand. At the end of the period, owing to unanticipated sales orders for pens, 120,000 pens were manufactured. Okay, if it were determined that the factory actually used 11,000 kilograms of plastic instead of the budgeted 10,000 kilograms, would it be incorrect for top management to reprimand the factory foreman for using more plastic than budgeted? So first things first, there was a budget of 10,000 kilograms based on 100,000 pens. So clearly, if there's sales demand for 120,000 pens, we inevitably going to have to use more kilograms of plastic. And that's really why flex budgeting is important. Because clearly it's not the foreman's responsibility at face value if he ends up using more kilograms of plastic because there was more sales than what was expected. So the answer is clearly no to whether we should reprimand the factory foreman. Of course, more plastic could be used because more pens were produced. In fact, the factory had used the correct amount of plastic per pen. It would have consumed 12,000 kilograms. Okay, so actually, 120,000 pens should have given us 12,000 kilograms of plastic. The foreman department only used 11,000 kilograms. So actually, they saved costs by using less plastic per pen. And so this example really highlights the importance of flexing the budget prior to evaluating someone's performance. So we're going to leave it there for now. The concept of flex budgeting is usually important. Please go through this example again, and then when we come back, we'll go into the detail of calculating variances.